Now that is all for that section with the models, and we're going to move on to using front-end estimation and rounding to estimate our product. Hopefully you remember front-end estimation and rounding. Front-end estimation is so easy. You are simply taking the front number, this number, and the very front number. The rest becomes zeros, okay? The rest becomes zeros, and you are just doing the multiplication. So if the rest becomes zeros, we have 6 times 10. So with front-end estimation, our answer would be, this is going to be about 60. Now, let's do the same thing with rounding. How is rounding different? All right, let me erase this here so we can redo it. Rounding is a little bit different. Rounding, you don't just take these front numbers. You look at the first number, and then the number to the right, this one right here is the judge. It tells you whether or not you keep this one or you round it up. Remember, 5 or more raise the score. 4 or less, leave that mess. There's a 4, so we're going to leave this 6. All right, so we've got 6 times, let's look at the first digit. We're going to look to the one to the right, and it says also leave this. So actually, we have 6 again, and we've left this one. We change the rest to zeros. Rounding, we get an answer of 60 also. So whether or not we round or do front-end estimation, you get 60 for both of those answers. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. So let's look at number 9. Front-end estimation means front end only. So you're going to take the front end of this, change the rest to zeros, right? All these go away because they're zeros. We could add them if we want, but we know that we don't need to because they're after the decimal point. We're going to take this 8, and we're going to change the rest to zeros. So now all you're left with is 7 times 8. So for front-end estimation, you get an estimate of 56. Let's see what happens when we round. When we round, we look at this 7, and to the right, it's a 5. So it says 5 or more, raise the score. So now this changes to an 8, and the rest changes to 0. Okay? Times, look at this 8. To the right, we have a 6. That says you are going to raise this 8 up to a 9 and change the rest to 0. So now for rounding, we have 8 times 9, which means you get an estimate of 72. So you can see here, whether or not you do front-end estimation or rounding estimation is going to give you different estimates based on what they ask. All right, front-end estimation, again, let's go down to number 10 here. Front-end estimation, simple. The front end is what you take. That's it. Change the rest to zeros. So we have 10 times 5. Our front-end estimation is 50. Let's try rounding. Rounding, underline the very first digit, look to the right. It's a 0, so that means we're actually going to leave this the same. Underline the front digit and look to the right. This 7 right here says raise that 5 up to a 6. And when you multiply 10 times 6, your rounding estimate is actually going to be 60. So you're going to need to pay attention on your test and your review. Are they asking you for front-end estimation or rounding? And you need to know the difference. All right, good job. We've done 10 problems. Let's move on now to, okay, I'm not going to do 11, 12, and 13. They are just the same, front-end estimation or rounding. I think you guys have got that, and you can practice some on your own. But I am going to go on to the third way that we talked about estimating. Front-end estimation is one, the second is rounding, and the third is going to be clustering. And the word clustering means you kind of gather all around. So these numbers right here that we're adding are kind of all gathered around a number. We've got 4 and 1800ths. We've got 3.8, 3.92, 4.075. What number can you look at that they all are kind of clustered around? They're all kind of clustered around the number 4. So what we would end up doing is changing them each to 4. And you're adding 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. So basically you're taking 4 times 4 and you're getting 16. Okay, let's do a few more of those. What number are all these clustered around? Look at these numbers. They're all very similar and they're all very close to one number. That number is 25. You have 3 groups of about 25. So 3 times 25 is 75. All right, let's go down to the next one. You've got these numbers right here. You can see they're all clustered around the number 9. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of about 9. 4 times 9 is going to equal 36. All right, so that should help you do some clustering. Let's go down. I'm going to actually stop and save this video and upload a few different ones because we've got a time limit on what YouTube will accept. So this will be part 1, and then I'll continue with part 2 in a different video.